Hi there, I'm Tricia Morris at Club Scrap. Welcome to the Yellowstone Page Kit Workshop. We're going to make 8 stunning pages together with almost no scraps. In fact, I don't think there's a single scrap left. Let's go ahead and get started. I've got my page kit right here, the Yellowstone Page Kit. I'll set aside the set of beautiful ribbon, all the fun embellishments, and I've got my paper and my photo mats left here to work with. Next, make sure you got your Fiskars guillotine trimmer. If you don't have something like this, what I have found is that those slider trimmers really slow things down. So this is the fastest, quickest, easiest way to make pages with our kits. And I've just learned that with my 25 years of experience. I also have our accordion pocket file. This is what keeps us organized as we trim all 8 pages at once. So we can set a trimmer aside and then go to work on putting them together. If you don't have this, no worries, just maintain 4 separate piles. Might want to label them 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. The lip of this little guy goes under my trimmer base so that I can use my vertical space to stay organized instead of having to have a lot of space. I've got a printed copy of the instructions, and job 1 is to get the papers and the photo mats sorted. So I'm going to grab my photo mats here and let's find one of those brown photo mats, just one, and you just pop that into pocket 1 and 2 or pile 1 and 2. Then find 3 rust photo mats, and there's only going to be 3, so grab all of them, 1, 2, 3, and place those in pocket 3 and 4, along with 1 green photo mat. Next up, find 2 brown photo mats, put them in pocket 5 and 6, and 2 teal photo mats in pocket 5 and 6, and then 2 green photo mats and 1 teal photo mat for pocket 7 and 8. Now we have all of our 12 by 12 papers. We're going to trim 4 of them plus 2 Cutaparts before we assemble our pages. So let's just hold that paper up in the crook of our arm and we'll sort it all out. So we're going to start out by trimming a landscape print. Now we had a really hard time naming these prints, by the way. We called this the aerial view and the landscape view. We just didn't know how else to label it. So take one of these landscape prints, this has the white area up at the top, and place it face down on your trimmer, followed by one of the aerial view prints. So just one of them, again, face down. Then dig for 1 sheet of the brown, and you'll notice right away there's a texture on this paper. On one side, it's smooth on the other, so I'll put it texture side down. Then 1 teal, also with a texture side down. Then usually on the back of the pile, the way Deb collates it over here in the warehouse, she usually puts those on the bottom of the stack. So find the Cutapart that has the blue border strips first, put it face down, and then those colorful border strips second. We'll continue sorting the rest of this pile. Let's see, we need 2 rust planes. When I was filming the card kit video, I called this brick. I'm so sorry if I've confused you, but the official name of the paper this time is rust. Okay, then we need 1 of aerial print. That's this guy, the aerial one. And then the next one is teal. Right here, teal, one of those. Then 2 green, it's kind of a goldish green, very pretty. 1 brown, texture down. 1 landscape, texture down. Flip the whole works over, so we're back to the landscape print, and that's how we're going to get started. Now, as far as setting up my space, I've got my accordion pocket file and my trimmer close to me in the center of my workspace. The paper stack goes to my left and my instructions go to my right. And that is if you've printed the instructions or if you have your, iPad or some sort of other device, to your right. I'm going to take that landscape print now and place it into the trimmer in this right side up position. That means your sky will be at the top. Open and unlock the blade if it's locked. And we're going to just trim this at 5 inches. So find the number 5, make sure it's inches, there's centimeters, inches are over here. Make sure the paper is flush at the top guide, push down on the clear bar, and make that slice. That's all there is to it. Both of these pieces are then used in layout 7 and 8. So when I place them in the pocket, I'm going to do so at an angle so I can still see the number of the pocket on the left. And we'll pick up our aerial view of the beautiful Yellowstone National Park. Now I'm going to rotate this so that the word National Park is in the lower right corner. This was a map that we put on here that I thought was so cool. It's from 1881. All right, Let's trim at 9 1/4. So I'm gonna find 9 first, then go left 1 column. And that's why I love all these columns on the base of this trimmer. That was at 9 1/4 again. Now I'm gonna find 6 1/2. So start at 6 and then go left 2 vertical columns, 1, 2. The most common mistake is that people go right instead of left. You gotta grow the number. So 6 1/2. Take this large piece and place it in pocket 3 and 4, again at that angle, so you can still see the numbers. The middle section that we took out, that's gonna go in pocket 5 and 6, and then the remaining section back to pocket 3 and 4. And we're already moving on to page 2 in our instructions, and we need to grab the brown. Now our first cut is at a large number, and that usually means we're gonna create a tiny piece. So I'm gonna put this in the trimmer at 11 3/4. So that's 11, 3 columns left. 1, 2, 3. Now, as we go along here, I just want you to allow the paper to pile up to the right of the trimmer blade. Don't move anything. So I'm gonna trim, and it's gonna create that really small piece. Then we'll move down to 10 1/4. So 10 plus 1 column to the left. And then 8 3/4. And finally 6. I love those nice whole numbers. Now rotate that 6 by 12 so it's horizontal, and we'll trim at 8 and then 4. There are 3 pieces here the same size. 2 of them are placed in pocket 1 and 2, and the other is in 7 and 8. Pick up the next strip. This is 2 3/4 by 12 right now. We'll cut that one at 11, 8 1/4, 5 1/2, and 2 3/4. Gather up the 4 squares that you made and place them in pocket 7 and 8. And this smaller piece that fell from the end, believe it or not, we're using that in 5 and 6. The next 2 larger strips, pocket 5 and 6, and there's that really little guy. If you lost him, he's probably under your trimmer. That happens a lot. He's gonna go in 7 and 8. Now we're moving on to the teal. This is our final plain sheet that we're gonna trim. So let's start at 11 1/4. So 11 plus 1 column left. Then 10 1/2, 9 1/2, 7 1/2, lots of halvesies, and 5 1/2. Rotate that 5 1/2, that's in your trimmer base. Notice again, I'm leaving everything pile up to the right of my trimmer so that it doesn't go out of the order that I think it's in. That causes confusion. All right, we'll trim this at 11 1/4, 7 1/2, 3 3/4, and gather up the 3 rectangles that are the same and place them in pocket 1 and 2. The small piece that fell from the end, 3 and 4. Then pick up the next strip. This is a 2 by 12, and we're gonna trim on all the even numbers, nice and easy. So 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2. Easy peasy. All these squares, let's see, 2 of them are used in layout 1 and 2, and the remaining 4 are showcased in layout 3 and 4. Then you have this next wider strip, plus the one after that. This is 1 inch wide. Both of them go in pocket 1 and 2. And you're left with 2 really narrow strips of the same size. Those go in pocket 3 and 4. Congratulations. Now you can gather up all the scraps that you created during this trimming process and you can dispose of them. I'll wait. Just kidding. There are no scraps. We used every last piece. Isn't that cool? I love that. Now on this next piece, we're gonna trim those, there are these messages to you on the outer perimeter that say remove paper outside of corner cutting guides. So that's what you have to do. You can see the guide, it's like a little plus sign shape. And for the first cut, usually I have a hard time seeing the edge of my blade, both at the top and the bottom. So I just cut shy of the line and leave a little bit of it behind, then I rotate, and now I can see much better where those marks land. And you may have to just even things out as well. And the reason I have you do this is because we need more precision than a gigantic trimmer can give us. There's always just a little bit of deviation, let's just say, in the way a large commercial trimmer will cut your paper. And the precision that we need here is just, you need to do that last step to ensure that we start off nice and accurately. And I can usually look at the number 12 by the time I hit my last little shaving, and I'll get rid of all those little pieces. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and grab the other sheet and do this same task so we can get this all done without having to do this again, and we can just proceed with all of our trimming and make life good. So if you need more time to do this, feel free to press pause on your playback. And you can also slow me down too. You can change your playback speed to like 0.75, and that really slows me down as well, especially if you're brand new to this and you haven't, you know, gotten your mastery of your measuring back intact, you know, like maybe it was when you were in grade school or something. Okay, here we are now back with our trimmed edges. We now have a nice 12 by 12 in front of us, and we have got these blue strips on the right. Our first cut here is going to be at 10 3/4, then 9 1/2, 7 3/4, and 4. Rotate this 4 by 12, and we're just going to cut this in half at 6. Now this piece we're going to place in pocket 1 and 2, and then the other one is going to become a tag. So to turn this into a tag, I just use my trimmer. Sometimes I close an eye, and I just try to match the distance from the edge, from this angled edge to the paper with this straight edge. You know, that just try to keep it so it's, you know, consistent. And that goes in pocket 3 and 4, and I've got my first scraps, these little baby triangles. Those aren't going to be used. You probably find a home for them though. All right, pick up the next strip that fell. Make sure the words adventures worthwhile on the right. We'll trim at 11, 8 1/4, 5 1/2, 2 3/4. Always be yourself. Pocket 3 and 4. Do not pet the fluffy cows. And I was told by my friend and staff member, Kristen, that these signs are all over Yellowstone National Park. And I will tell you that I have never been there, but I plan to visit. I am going to be there in February, and I'm very excited. So I will hopefully see the do not pet the fluffy cows sign. That goes in pocket 1 and 2. This next one is a tag. So I'm going to just flip those corners again, save time later, and place this in pocket 3 and 4. We have this neat arrowhead. You can go ahead and fussy cut that if you like, and place that in pocket 5 and 6. We won't do that fussy cutting now. And then we can even cut little angles into this piece if you wish. We won't do that at this time. That goes in pocket 3 and 4. The strip with all the beautiful trees, that's 1 and 2. And you should have 2 strips left that are kind of that bluish. That's 5 and 6. If this is your first time following along and you lose track of something and you don't want to rewind me, the answer key is right in your instructions at the bottom of page 2. Here we go now with the other piece. We're gonna trim this at 10 1/4, 8 1/2, 8, 7 1/2, 6 3/4, and 3 1/2. Rotate so that this little tag and journaling prompt is on your right. Trim at 10 1/2, 7, and 3 1/2. The square goes in pocket 1 and 2. The circle, pocket 7 and 8. These 2 items are both used in layouts 5 and 6. You've got your little journaling tag, and I'll just take a moment and lob off those corners. That's 5 and 6 on that one. Now the next strip will be placed with the trees and journaling prompt on the right, cut at 8 3/4, 6, and 4 1/2. The this fun sign here that's used in pocket 5 and 6, as is the It's Wild Out There 5 and 6, Go Play Outside 1 and 2, and one more little tag. These look so nice when they become tags instead of just rectangles. And that's going to go in pocket 7 and 8. Now we have some strips. We have the other tree border for 1 and 2. These 2 darker strips, pocket 3 and 4. And then the matching wider strips, Oh, the Places You'll Go, that's 7 and 8. So congratulations, we literally have 0 scraps other than those tiny little tag triangles, and all of the trimming is complete for all 8 of your pages. Isn't that amazing? I'm gonna lock my trimmer blade and support my accordion pocket file while I get rid of my trimmer. And I'll set this on its back from now on because it's the trimmer that holds it up, and I don't want anything falling on the floor. Now you have this remaining stack of paper that we sorted earlier, and everything should be just as we need it to be in order to complete the pages from layout number 8 to layout number 1. So basically we're gonna work backwards. And the reason we do that is so that when we end, layout number 1 is sitting on top, and then you can grab your adhesive and just put your pages together, add your photos, and consider it done. Okay, so here is my stack. I'm gonna take the top sheet and slide it to the right, and that should leave me 2 12 by 12 rust papers side by side with the entire stack underneath this one on the left. Then turn in your instructions to page 4, that's the back, and the base for page 4 layouts is the rust, 2 12 by 12 rust. Okay, fantastic. Now we have our little pocket organizer or your pile that you've made, and you want pile number 7 and 8 or pocket labeled 7 and 8. Everything in this bin should be accounted for to be used as we finish this layout. So we're just gonna dry fit this without any adhesive, and then we can, add the adhesive on our own. And that, you can just work at your own pace. Now this narrower strip, I'm gonna move that over to the right edge of this base and then put the larger piece on the left edge. And just kind of switches it up a little bit. And I'm gonna put this cute little tiny strip of brown to separate the print from the plain. Across the top, I'm going to place that border strip here, and in order to determine the placement of that, you'll need to add your photo mats. So you got the green photo mats here. Do you see how that just gets framed up? And then we're going to frame it this way with that cute strip. Here we have the circle. You can trim it with scissors, or if you happen to have a thin cutting die or a large punch, you can do that as well. And then over in the right corner, I hated covering this paper, it's so beautiful. But over here you can add a mat. Now on this side, I'm gonna, I forgot, I'm sorry, move this to the right edge, and then we're gonna put this right here. That's cool. Sorry about that. You're probably like, what are you doing, Trish? That's not how it's all set up. Then this is horizontal, and then this right here. And then you have this series of 4 squares that if you place them equally spaced, they'll fit beautifully within that open area. And I used my grid ruler to help stay straight, during that assembly process. Here's my grid ruler, and I can place it on the edge here so that it's 1/4 of an inch from the edge. And then there's my 0 center, and that way everything can be nicely aligned. I do like that little detail. Now there are a few other things I did with this layout. I'm going to show you with my finished samples exactly what happened. So on the layout on the right side, you can see that I found a die, and I'll get you that measurement. That is 3.5 inches. So if you have a 3.5 inch die, great. Again, you can trim with scissors too. Ink the edges if you want. I made a loop with the brown ribbon, and I taped it right to the page. And then I added this with foam adhesive and finished with one of those Longhorn steer charms, and I glued the charm onto the page with our bookbinding glue. And that's layout number 8. Very basic. For layout 7, I used my slot punch to pop a little slot into this tag, and that's just like instant tag. I love that. And then I threaded it with the ribbon, attached it with foam adhesive to give it a little bit of height, and then I looped it with the brown ribbon and taped the ends on the back. And this arrowhead charm was added with bookbinding glue. That is layouts 7 and 8. Easy peasy. Everything else just pretty straightforward. So for our next trick, I'm going to pick up the rust base paper from layout 7 and just slide it on top of page 8, and then take the next sheet, slide it like so. And I believe this is how it was situated when I did layouts 5 and 6 with the text National Park right here in the lower left corner. I'm going to take everything out of the pocket labeled 5 and 6. And usually what I do is I pull it out and then I just kind of organize it in my hands a little bit so that I don't have to pick up every piece off the tabletop. Dealing from the hand saves a little bit of time. Now, what I liked is how when I placed this print in the lower left corner, it just sort of sweeps up in that color. I just thought it was really beautiful. And then above the print, I'm going to add this brown strip along with the title that says "When the Moment Captures Me." Now on the right side, I'll lead with 2 photo mats. Again, I hated covering this print. I think I would just frame it. And then top that with the brown strip and then capture the moment. I capture the moment here. You've got a larger photo mat here and then a horizontal one right here. Now, this brown piece is going to be added and it'll be level with the top edge of this. And you can take scissors and trim that out and it'll fit perfectly into this spot. And I'll explain more about that in a second. On the right side, you can trim this and the happy trails and a little X. All of this kind of works together to make a cute collage over here. Pop your tag with the slot punch, thread it with some ribbon going off the right edge, and then this can just go right here. Let's talk finishing touches. I mean, I love how quickly this goes together. And if you're pressed for time, you don't have to mess around with all the ribbon. You could staple instead of thread. You could skip the foam adhesive. You can skip the embellishments. You can do a lot of things to speed the process and maybe get more mileage out of your time if you really are pressed. Like I know a lot of you have kids graduating high school and you're like, oh, I gotta do his entire life this weekend. That's how you do it, okay? Otherwise, you just do your kits as you go along and they're ready for emergencies like that. Okay, taking a look at page 6, you've got your threaded ribbon here, again, secured at the back. And check out this cute collage right here. We've got the arrowhead charm. Just trim this out. There's a little glow on these 2 pieces. So, I mean, I think it looks pretty sharp. And this one, you can see I added with foam adhesive. On the facing page, did some fun things. I had plenty of this aqua ribbon, so I ran it all across, taped the ends, and added a bow to the ribbon after it was stretched across. Then I threaded the ribbon onto the end of that huge feather charm and wrapped the ends around at the back and added that with foam adhesive. It's a nice, perfect fit. Picking up the base now for that aqua page, that was 5. I'll place that on top of 6. I'm gonna grab the green, slide it over to expose the other green. And then we're gonna go back in our instructions to bottom of page 3. You'll see layouts 3 and 4, and there's that green base. And we will empty pocket 3 and 4. Moving right along here. I'll gather it into my hand. And this larger stretch of the paper is gonna go bottom. And then we get to place our cute little National Park text right on the top. And let's flank this. I love to do this, just kind of help transition the color with these teal nested with the brown or rust colored map border. Okay, then here at the top on the right, we're gonna have our rust colored ones and they're gonna complement over here. And next to the one on the upper right, we're gonna add a series of 4 squares. Does that mean you need 4 little photos? No. If you have them, that would be really cute. A quick tip, these squares are 2 by 2. They're 2 by 2, remember? Cut all the even numbers. And so the photo guide here has you putting a 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 inch photo in that spot. I will tell you that I tend to make it 1 7/8 by 1 7/8 because it allows me to have a slightly larger photo and you still get to see the background. Another option that I take advantage of a lot is when you're working, let's say you just want to put one photo into the spot. I use my 8 by 8 grid ruler and I come in and I hover and I can see that if I trim my photo to 4 by 4, it's going to lay on top of that very nicely with a border all the way around. Okay, this will fit vertically right in here, just tucks in there like a dream. Then you've got this going on right here. I stretched some ribbon across and added ribbon to the top of the tag. And of course, you gotta slot these. And I just do it because it's really fun. It's fun to do that. And I'll do it on this tag too. Why not? It's here. That way when I come back to do it, it's done. Now, do you see this little angle? If I just cut right from the edge to that center, and you can do this with a craft knife and cutting mat, which is what I did when I was making my original layouts the first time. This is my second time. You can just add those cute little angles. Fits. So to mimic that, I love to do that. I like to go and duplicate something from one side to the other. I'm going to cut right into this like that. Okay. And this is just a great spot because you'll have these foil gems. So I used a grid ruler to center my first gem, and then I put the other gems to match the same distance on either side, and finished with the last two gems by splitting the difference of the space. Oh, it's just so pretty. Ribbon here, let me show you. Here we have layout 4. Boom, 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 boom. And I used bookbinding glue dispensed from a needle tip applicator to hold that, and they're not going anywhere. I love that bookbinding glue for like non-porous embellishments, metal, plastic, that kind of thing. And here we have just, I love how this wide taffeta ribbon works with it. And I mentioned on the facing page that I added yet another strip of that rust colored ribbon and then added more to the top of the tag. Everything fits and just looks so nice. Again, very easy to put together as well. To save on lumpiness, I'll get rid of my gems for now and slide over the green. Oh, I think I had 2 pieces here. Yes, I did. Okay, brown. Brown's gonna be on the right, landscape will be on the left, and here we are already at layouts 1 and 2. Incredible. I have 29 minutes of live filming so far. That's not bad. When I edit it, it'll be just a little less because, you know, once in a while I make a mistake or I need to go grab something and then, you know, I just take that out. So here we go. Let's take the 3 teal rectangles and we're just gonna spread those across the bottom of the right side of this page. 1, 2, 3. Above that, put a really wide strip of the teal and nest it with the tree strip. And above that, we can add a square. And this can be fussy cut and added here. And then that giant enjoy the view, boom, complemented with this little guy. I think I forgot to mention placement of a few of the charms because there's another one of those. Here we have 2 smaller photo mats. There are 3 brown in the kit, 2 that are smaller that match. One that is larger that will fit as a nest on this guy. I always feel bad for people trying to do this without the video because they're gonna be like, what's going on? These don't fit right. So thank you for watching the video. Across the bottom here, we have our nested strip with this kind of coming in right here. Sweet, easy. This nice giant, look at how it fits. It's like Jacqueline designed it to fit that way. She probably did, because she does that. Like she knows what the goodies are, the measurements of the goodies, and she tries to accommodate for them. Isn't that amazing? All right, here's my finished page. Added a little, you know, handmade bow made out of the teal ribbon. Attached this with foam adhesive. Always being aware that I'm going to slide a picture, so you don't want to get adhesive in the spot where you're sliding something. Upper right corner is a great spot for a page title. And then our charm added with bookbinding glue. And the final facing page, pretty straightforward. I just tied some ribbon to the end of the feather charm. And again, bookbinding glue to the rescue to add those fun embellishments. Whew. Almost no scraps to worry about other than just those fussy cut negative spaces. I mean, just nothing. We really used everything. And I think I just had very small pieces of ribbon left over. It was a success, I'd say. And besides, Yellowstone is such a beautiful kit. If you like this collection, or if you want to just make a dozen nice masculine cards, I highly recommend grabbing the Yellowstone card kit. Those are some really fun cards, and they're quite easy to put together as well. Nothing overly complicated or mechanical with these cards. The only thing we do is make a double Z fold card, and I have some great tips to help you along the way with that too. So even if you've never even tried making cards with me before, now is a really good time. Lastly, if you haven't subscribed to our Club Scrap channel, make sure you hit subscribe. It is free to subscribe, and it really helps our channel. Give me a like and leave a comment if you learned something new today, or if you just enjoyed our time together. I always love sharing these videos with you. So show me some love, leave me a comment, and I look forward to seeing you again in another Club Scrap workshop. Thanks for joining me.